Hey guys, welcome back to CheatSheetPros.com. I hope you followed all of our free posts that we did yesterday. We ended up posting this, which you can see on the screen, the prop drop, and we recommended doing a round robin, whatever you were comfortable with, and then also a little bit on the scoop. It paid a little over 20 to 1. After my bonus, I think I was around 28 to 1. I cranked it up pretty good, but we scooped all 15 picks. All 5 same game parlay legs went 5-0, so it was plus 20 units if you just bet it straight up. I think some people got plus 2,300 by the time they had bet it, but this was just yesterday on Monday, December 22nd. And then you will also notice last week we had posted this one. We did another one just for fun for $18.89 and slapped, what is that, 7 plays together, and it hit. So we hit 2 of them at plus 275, plus 350. The combo paid plus 1889. And on this night, it was only a 2-game slate, and DK gave you a 30% boost. So each game we got up close to plus 400. So that was a really good night. And then, tinkered around. I posted my football stuff yesterday, and then I was like, let me dig in. I feel pretty good with NBA, building some of these. So I built it, did a round robin, threw some money on the scoop, and just blew right through it. So that was fantastic. So I had to stay up and make that to kind of share with everybody. Now the one I have today pays plus 9103 before any bonus. So $11 is going to pay about $1,000 if you want to put on it. But I also did a round robin. There's a huge slate today. I dug through all the games. I found 8 that I liked, only 6 I could fit on there. So the 2 I eliminated were the Clippers and the Denver game. I left those off and I went with the other 6. So I'm going to kind of run through, show you what I like. I've already posted this one on the website for everybody, and it's already in the chat. So if you're a member, go take a look at it. If you're not a member, we are dirt cheap. It averages out to less than 50 cents a day. For $16, you can come for a month, and we cover everything. We post all kinds of stuff. We have a chat. Just the benefits you get from the other postings far exceeds anything on here. And if you hit one of these, you pay for a year like it's nothing. So let's go ahead and get started. So you open up the cheat sheet. As always, we have the tutorials everywhere, but we go over to the game logs, and this is kind of how I dig through my games. 2 things I look at when I get started: defensive allowed stats, and then also I'm going to look at this hit rate column, and then I can look at the game logs and see how they've been doing. Over here is the DVP, which we also have up here. The one thing you'll notice is Washington is giving up a ton of 3-point shots, so that's something to keep in mind. And then the players are sorted from top to bottom, so usually the top 5 or 6 are the main ones you want to focus on. And I can't remember if it's minute or fantasy points or how I sorted it, but it's basically the more relevant players up top, and then you work your way down. So you'll notice right here, like LaMelo doesn't have a real good hit rate. He's only played 3 games. So I'm flipping through here. I don't see anything I like. CJ McCollum was one that I used to love to play, but he's been all over the place. 18 down to 11, up to 28 down to 15. I don't feel really good about that prop. So we're going to go down. Now, Kaishan George, and sorry if I pronounced some of these incorrect. He's one guy that I put on here. And you'll notice on the same game parlay legs that I did today, I have some that are like minus 120, 130, 140. But I also have some mixed in there that are plus 150, plus 180, where I went a little bit bigger because I really want to try to hit something big. Yes, yesterday was nice. It was huge. It was a monster day. We also had a monster day last week. So let's see if we can get a little bit bigger today. So we're basically taking this one up, and it's going to pay 4.5 times more than the one we posted yesterday. So we need to take a few more risks. So how do we do that? So Kaishan George is the first one that we went with. And you can see here that his points are fairly consistent for the most part. And he's taken a bunch of field goal attempts: 13, 16, 13, 11, 10, 11. So he's taken double-digit field goal attempts. So I went safe here, and I just took 10-plus points. So if CJ McCollum has a big game, he can have a big game. If he has a lower game, he's usually still hitting that 10, and he's playing consistent minutes across here. So you can see 30-plus minutes there, then he dipped, and then 30 minutes there. And even when he was less than 30, he still got 15 points. So I just took 10-plus points and went with that. A thing I used to really boost this that I really like here are his assists. So his assist number is 5.5. He's hit it 71% of the time. He's projected for 4. He's averaging 7.5 over the last 4 games. So you can see here he's got 7, 7, 7, 9. Only had 3 here, but then was right back at 7. So with 7, 7, 7, 9 over the last 4 games, I threw in just 5+ assists. So over 4.5, that's 1 less than his line. And that skyrocketed this thing from plus 110 to like plus 188, 185. It's kind of moving up and down. But I locked mine in at plus 188. So 10 points, 5 assists. That's a fairly low number. I like going out and attacking those. And then we come over here. Miller's kind of up and down. LaMelo, Bridges, their numbers are kind of high. But Nupple, or however you say this guy's name, he was a winner for us last night. He was one of the first guys that cashed that someone posted in the chat with the little green arrow. So thank you, whoever did that. That was fantastic. And so his prop here is 20.5. And I just took 15+ points. So over 14.5. You can see here he's pretty consistent with that. He did miss it this one game here, but 33, 29, 28, 19, and 20. He's averaging over 24 points over the last 4 games and had 33 before that. So 15+ points feels like that is very doable to slide in there and crank this parlay up a little bit. And then this other guy, Bub Carrington, he was called something else on DK, so I'm assuming he's got a couple different first names that they bounce back and forth. His prop was only 10.5, and when I looked at this column, he's got a lot of red here, so I wanted to get in. And then I look over here, and this has the highest number, so points are the first thing that I looked at. So 10.5 points. He's got 21, 14, 15, 11, 27, and 14 over the last 6 games. So I just slapped him on there for 8+ points. So 8 points feels pretty simple. He's taking double-digit field goal attempts in each of the last 5 games. He had 20 here, and then 11 or 12 each of the last 4 games. So 8 points should be fairly easy if they are up or they are getting blown out. Either way, he should be able to get those. Here's a game they won. He had 11 field goal attempts. Here they got blown out. He still had 12 field goal attempts, so he's not really affected a ton. And he's playing over 30 minutes in almost every game. You can see 40, 35, 33, 36, 41. So he's on the floor. So I like 8+ points. So with this, I did Kaishan George, 10 points, 5 assists. Nupple, 15 points. Bub Carrington, 8+ points. And that's one of the biggest payouts. I think it was 188 when I put it in there. So that's one of the legs that we did. And then when we flip down here, I'm going to go over here to the Philadelphia game. So this one I went a little bit safer. So Tyrese Maxey, these studs like Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, Alexander, they're averaging 30 to 35 points a game. You can usually get 20 or 25 points. For people like Alexander for OKC, I usually take 25 because he's projected at like 32 usually. For Maxey on this one, you could go a couple different ways. You could go 25+ points, and I would feel pretty good with that. For mine, I wanted to do a little bit of a safer leg, so I took 20+ points. Now, he should blow that out of the water. Typically, if he gets 20, he's going to get 25. So if you want to go up to 25 and crank this thing up to over 100-to-1 odds, I completely see it. Go for it. Mine, I went 20+ points. And then I came down here to Embiid, which he was battling an illness, missed a couple of games. He should come back. And his points are he had 12 and then 16, 39, 22. He should do really good in this game because you come up here and you see Brooklyn, as far as giving up points in the paint, they're giving up the 24th most. So he should be able to score. But what I went with is his rebounds. So he has 6, 7, 9, and 14. And then I went ahead and put him, 6+ rebounds. So that seems to be his absolute floor. He should double that. That seemed a safe number to put in there. I really like the odds on it because his rebound prop is only 7.5. So to get over 5.5 for Joel Embiid, even if he plays 20 minutes, he should be able to do that. So I put that one in there. And then VJ Edgecombe, whoever this guy is, and I don't follow a ton of basketball. I just do bets and props. 14.5 points. Look at this. 26, 23, 26, 22. So these 3 games, he was kind of like, so-so. And then he just woke up and started going bananas these last 4 games. Last 4 games, he's averaging 24.3 points. And his prop is only 14.5. So we've got to put him in there. And I even took it down to 10+ points. So he only needs 10 points. And he's done that in each of the last 7 games. and he's going up over double that. So this is another one. I took 10 plus. This was a safe leg. I think it was minus 130. But this is one where you could take him up to 12 plus points, 15 plus points, and really crank that payout up if you want to get a little bit higher. Same thing with Embiid rebounds. You can do 6 plus. I don't mind 7 plus. Even 8 plus is viable. I'm just going to look over here at the rebounding and make sure, these are kind of mid-range numbers, which they are. And so I'm good with that. The guy I did not put in there that I debated was Michael Porter. I wanted to have a safe leg. But you can see here, look at this, 33, 35, 34, 28, 24. This game here that was a blowout, it was 127-82. He only had 12 points. Okay, but look at these other games. 18 field goal attempts, 24, 20, 23, 22. So I like putting his points on the other side to come back. That way if the game's close, it's back and forth. As far as three-point shots, both teams are fairly decent. They don't give up a ton of threes, so I'm not chasing any long-range shooters here, but Michael Porter's another one that you could put in there that did jump out to me. And then moving on to the next game, we got Atlanta. So Bulls and Hawks. So Kobe White was one of my favorite guys last year to put in, and he's just not really doing a ton this year. You can see his ceiling is 22 to 25, and he's got a prop of 20.5, projected at 20. He's got a couple, a 12, a 13, a 20, a 20. So not really impressive. And again, you can glance right here and see, nothing really jumps out at me there. Atlanta, when you're looking over here, you get some red, so rebounds, assists. So Jalen Johnson has been on absolute fire. Like, look at this guy's PRA. Triple-double, 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 almost a triple-double, almost another triple-double. And his PRA numbers, I worried about this, so when Trey came back, he only played 20 minutes. He had a PRA of 63 with 43 points. And then Trey sat out this next game, and he didn't do as well, which they got blown out by the Spurs. They lost by, 28 points? But then Trey came back. This is interesting. He only played 26 minutes, but he had a 35-1-9 game. But then, look, Jalen Johnson also put up 36 points, 11 boards, 9 assists, had a PRA of 56. So, can you guess where I went with this game? I took Jalen Johnson's PRA at 35 plus. So, you can go up to 40 plus, and I'd feel pretty good about that. But I went to, I wrote down on my little sheet 25 plus. It's actually 35 plus. So, I'll have to go back and change that. You can see here 35 is kind of his floor, but he's got 56, 63, 34, 42, 54, 55. So, I like that. If the game's somewhat close, they're going back and forth, like he should be able to get there. The next leg I did was Trey Young assist. This guy's always putting up 9, 10 assists every game. I went over 7.5, so I took 8 plus assists. That feels fairly safe. I mean, in 20 minutes, he had 10 assists. In 26 minutes, he had 9 assists. If he plays 29 minutes, he's projected at 9 assists. So over 7.5 felt pretty safe. So those were the 3 that I went with on this leg. Giddey's another guy that's always up there, but his number is just so high. So his PRA is 37.5. He's only projected at 32, which I don't really care about projections. His last 4 is 35.5, but he's got 40, 30, 45, 23, 44, 26, 22. So there's a lot of variance there. So if you put a standard deviation on him, it's going to be all over the place, and we want to stay away from that. Herter 3-point shots. This was my other leg on here. I took 2 plus 3. So there was something I read about Kevin Herter at home. So he had 4, and then he came back and had 3, and then he had 2, and then he had 4. So his prop line's only 1.5, and he's had at least 2 plus in each of the last 4 games. So I just took over 1.5, and that cranked this one up to plus 150. This was another guy that I had looked at with 52 points in the last 2 games. He's one that jumped out, but he's got a lot of variance in there. His minutes fluctuate, 22, 24, up to 33. So I kind of stayed away from that. I don't know enough about NBA to really make that judgment call. I am by no means like an NBA expert. I look at numbers, stats, minutes, and kind of build some stuff from there, and it's worked so far. So let's go ahead and flip down to this next game. So the next one we're going to go to should be Cleveland. All right, so Cleveland and Pelicans. So on this one, The obvious one, you got to take Donovan Mitchell, 25 plus points. You got to take Zion Williamson, 15 plus points. He had one game here where he only played 21 minutes, didn't get there, it was 3 for 9. But these last two games, 24, 29 points. Hey, 15's safe. If they're going to stay in the game, he's going to have to at least score 15. If he doesn't, they're going to get blown out. We lose that leg. Oh, well, we move on. The other one we have, so Donovan Mitchell, I mean, he's 30, 32, 48, 29, 28, 25 points is fair. DVP-wise, good spot. They give up a bunch. He'll have a couple games where he don't play as many minutes or he doesn't shoot as well. Like here, he shot 6 of 24. He still took 24 shots. He just only made 6 of them, so he didn't do as well. And, you know, he could miss some of those. Garland was another guy that I looked at for points. He's got 20 and a half, and I mean, some of these numbers sky up here. He's in a good spot. But what I did is I went with his 3-point shots. And so what I did is I took 2 plus 3s. So he's got 5, 6, 3, and 3 over the last 4. And when you come up here, you see the Pelicans, they are giving up the 28th most 3-point made shots. So him and Mitchell should rain a bunch of threes. I tried to find a team 3-point made stat, but I couldn't find one anywhere, but I like them. So I took Donovan Mitchell, 25 points. I took Garland for 2 threes. And then Zion for 15. And then Garland was the other guy. Let me find him. Jalen Tyson's been a darling for us, but these last 2 games, he kind of fell off, so I'm going to stay away from him. Siddiq Bey. All right, here we go. So he has been absolute fire. So when you glance here, you see, okay, 86% on his PRA number of 24.5. He's averaging 27.3. So he's got 27, 26, 39, 17, 28, 25, 25. So 25 is a pretty good number for him. He's been 25 or more every time except for this one game here, and he played 25 minutes. You can see he plays anywhere from 28 to 35 minutes. He's kind of all over the place. And so I put him in there at his 15 plus PRA was stupid. So I took 20 plus PRA. So it's a little bit closer to kind of what he's averaging, not as much of a cushion, but I like that, and I wanted to crank the payout on this one up a little bit. So that was the other leg that I went with. Let's go ahead and hit these last 2, and we'll wrap this video up. Next one, Thunder Spurs. This one was pretty much straightforward. I took Shai Alexander, 25 plus points. He's averaging 31.8. He's projected 31.5. He scores 25 in almost every single game. And it wasn't bad. It was like minus 300, so that's a good way to start it off. Your next 2 players, Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren, the offense runs through there. Chet, I could get a little better price on, but some of his numbers dip a little bit more. And so I went ahead and went with Jalen Williams here, and I took Jalen Williams just down. I was going to do 15 plus points, but you can see he's got some of those games where it was 15, and then Chet went off, so I knocked it down to 12 and paid a little bit more juice just to kind of knock it down. And then the other guy that I went with was Steven Castle. Let me find him. So Steven Castle, 15.5 points. He's hit it each of the last 6 games, 18, 17, 17, 22, 30, 18. So he's got a really good streak of points. I love his field goal attempts, 16, 10, 11, 16, 14, 15. But he is playing OKC, which is very tough to score on, so I knocked this down. I was going to do 12 plus, and I ended up doing 12 plus. I think 10 plus was just juice too high, so I went ahead and went with that. And also, they just played here, so OKC and the Spurs played, so we can come down here and look and say, okay, he just played them, and this was his stat line. 22 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, PRA of 30, hit 2 threes, played 34 minutes. So 12 points, 10 less points in this game against the same team. I thought that was pretty fair. The last game I put in was Lakers and Suns. And I only had 2 spots, but I ended up accidentally deleting one because my parlay ended up with 19 instead of 20 legs. And Booker, you can see here, 38, 25, 27. They just played the Lakers. He had 27 points. I took him to score 20. And then LeBron, I was going to take him. So you can see his last 3 games, 26, 28, 36. And also, he put up 26 points when they just faced Phoenix. So I felt like 20 points each was pretty fair. I was going to do 18 for LeBron and then add in another leg. But I was running out of spots, so I just did 20-20, and I think it was minus 145, and that should be a later game, so that's kind of a simple one to sweat if you're getting down at the end. Dylan Brooks was the other guy that I was looking at. His is 21.5. I was really interested in 15-plus points. He's got 22, 24, 18, 16, 18, 23, 33. And just when he played the Lakers, he had 18. So if you could get a good 15-plus line, I don't mind putting that one in there. And those were the main ones. Flipping down here, I didn't really dig much deeper because I was running out of room. I don't see anything else. And for some of you guys that saw a few missing players like Nick Smith here, when I see he's projected at 19 minutes, I go back and add him, so he'll be in the player log database tomorrow. The game I did not get to add, and if you don't like one of these or you want to mix and match your own, was the Clippers and Houston. And so looking at this one, Kawhi points was the first one I was going to look at. They also just played Houston, and he put up 24 points with 9 boards. I really like that. I was trying to get a 20-plus point line for Kawhi. Harden has been doing really good, but when he played the Clippers last, he only had 16 points and was 5 of 14. So just take it with a grain of salt. They're a tougher matchup. But what did jump out is Sengun. When he played, he put up a 22-15 line. So 22 points, 15 boards. So I was really interested in his points plus rebound number. I thought that was really good. Or even his PRA number if you want to throw some assist in there. His number is 6.5. He had 5 last time he faced him. He could go up or down. That was one I looked at. Jabari Smith was another one. He's been hitting a lot of numbers. He's pretty consistent. He's playing a lot of minutes. Flipping down, there's actually a lot of red guys. Eason was another one. His point prop was only 7.5, and in his one game back, in 16 minutes, he shot 6 of 8 and scored 16 points. So I felt like that was very interesting because you could probably get 6-plus points and, lay minus 200 and add that in there. Over here, let's see, Batum, done. Yeah, nothing really on this other side that jumps out. Harden's typically your go-to, but he's got a lot of variance right now. Denver-Dallas was the last game that I was going to look at, and I ended up pulling this one at the end. Cooper Flagg, I love his points. He's consistent. He's always on the floor. He's younger. I didn't look at the lines. His prop's 20.5, so you can probably get 15+, and that looks pretty safe for the most part. So I liked his points. Anthony Davis rebounds was another one that I was going to look at. They're going to need him to rebound against Denver because Denver is a very tough rebounding team. 11.5, so I think 10+ was the best juice that you could get, and he's done that the majority of the time. And Najee Marshall, his PRA was another one, and I may go back and bet this later. So his PRA is 20.5. You can see he's averaging 25. So he's got 26, 35, 20, 19, 22, 19, 21. And you can get a PRA number of 15 on him all day that's priced really well. So I like that one. That gives you a lot of flexibility. And on this other side, nothing really jumps out. Jokic, they could blow him out and nobody would be shocked. And so you can see here, Dallas gives up a bunch of points in the paint. So he could score a ton of points, or he could have one of these 14, 13, 13 games. You just don't really know. I mean, his PRA, he's got a high here of 64. He's got a low in the 30s. So he's kind of all over the place. So if you expect the game to stay close, he could have a big game. If not, he could fall away. And again, this is what I am posting. So if you watch the video, you're going to get a little sneak peek at it on here. So these are all the legs that we had went over. These are what I had posted. The one that's incorrect is Jalen Johnson. This should be 35. So I'm going to go back and change that. Another fun one that we have over here that we looked at, the teams giving up a bunch of 3-point attempts. VJ Edgecombe 2+, and Kevin Huerter 2+ threes, pays 175. I thought that was really good, so I bet it. If you want to add in Cam Spencer at 2+, that cranks it up to plus 215. His number's 2.5, so you're taking a little bit of a discount, but he's got a really good DVP spot. I like the 175. The 215 is not a big enough jump. But if you take all three of these guys, Edgecombe, Huerter, and Spencer, for 3+ threes, it pays almost 13-1. It was plus 1275. And the other one that jumped out was the Kaishan assist, 7+ is plus 172. So that's another good one. But Anyways, this is what we're swinging at tonight. It's plus 9103 before any bonus. So good luck. Have some fun, guys.